from both sides of the pond. Yes, it is, and we're currently in Kentucky. I've got a load from picked it up in Virginia, and it's going to Salt Lake City in Utah. So I've got to go over I-80 in the snow. It's definitely getting to fall. Autumn, as we call it back home. Lots of leaves blowing off the trees. The wind has settled this afternoon, but this morning was very windy and we had leaves blowing everywhere. The cold is coming. Winter's coming, Jon Snow, you bastard. Yeah, okay, that's my Game of Thrones impression there. But yeah, so four-wheelers. I've had a couple of right doozies today. They drive you crazy. The thing about people who drive cars, they have no idea, obviously have no idea or don't care how much room you need to stop one of these semis. 2 football pitches at 50 miles an hour. It's crazy. I had one, we were in roadworks, one lane, and then there was a on-ramp, you know, but there's giveaway line, and they had to stop because we couldn't get out of the way. It was just one lane. So they're all pulling out, and I could see them, and I'm anticipating, I knew what was going to happen. And at the last minute, yes, you guessed it, one pulled out right in front of me. Stupid blonde cow who, you know, I had to slam my brakes on. It's freaking crazy. And it's like, you know, you just saved 30 seconds, but you risk your life doing so. If I was like one of these inattentive drivers who was looking at my phone or picking my ass or whatever, then she could be dead, and it's just not worth it. So if you're not a truck driver and you're watching these videos, please, it takes us a long time to stop the bloody things. Hello, 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 what's going on there? We have a cover with the lights glowing, blocking the road. Something's going on, I don't know. Oh, there's cops down there, cops over there. Maybe there's been an accident. It looks like some kind of industrial complex. Yeah, there are loads of fire engines and loads of cop cars. You can't see it, but I can. There's something going on back there. Well, yeah, so just been one of those. It's the route I'm taking is 64, and let me fix this. This is a great little dash cam adapter for your phone, but it just doesn't tighten properly. It keeps moving. So anyway, as I was saying, coming up 77 and 64, very twisty road on a windy day. Been hard work. It's really been hard work. You might laugh at that. Oh, he's just sitting on his arse turning the steering wheel. But no, it's you got to be on your toes. Lots of ups and downs. Steep gradients up, steep gradients down. I picked my load up this morning. I scaled out, put it on hole 6, and it's legal, but it's close. But I did it with full tanks, so you know I don't have to run half tanks or anything like that. I know exactly, you know, when I fill the tank up, I'm still going to be legal on the scales. But I was only on the tandems. What was it, 140 pounds short of the 34,000, and about 300 pounds on the drives. So a little bit of breathing space, but not much. I'm really heavy. Now, anybody who's driven I-80 in Wyoming will tell you it's always a good thing that if you're driving through Wyoming to be heavy. Never good to go through there light. I don't think I ever have, to be honest. I don't recall ever being sent on a load that took me through I-80 and through Wyoming and being light. Maybe there's a reason for that, I don't know. But yeah, that's a windy road. I'd come back that way heading east a couple of weeks ago, and it was beautiful, sunny and all that. But you know, a couple of days after I got home, and it was closed down because of snow, and it's been closed down Cheyenne a couple of times in the last week or so. So it's going to be interesting. I've looked at the forecast; it looks all right. But yeah, after today, I'll be glad to get on a nice stretch of I-80 running through Nebraska, just some straight flat road. It's going to be so nice just to relax. Today's been a pain in the ass, especially with the wind, how heavy the truck is, and some of our four-wheel friends. Crazy. But I'm going to probably be stopping somewhere there's I picked out the Loaves. It's right in the middle of Lexington and Louisville on 64 in a place. So what the hell did they call that there town where it's near? Oh shoot, you know, when you get my age your memory starts to go a little bit, so that's my excuse, and I'm bloody well sticking to it, lad. Oh, short name. Bollocks, can't remember it now. It's Waddy, that was it, Waddy. I knew it was a weird name beginning with W, but it just wasn't called Waddy. Yeah, so just shy of that there's a rest area, and you know I like rest areas. They're cleaner and less smelly, and you lose less time pulling off and going back on the interstate using them. Not much, but every little counts. So just after that, about 10 miles after the rest area, there's a Loves and a Loves and a Flying J at Waddy on 64. So I'm still debating with myself. If I go to the Loves, I can get a shower and have a nice cup of coffee in the morning. It's only a small Loves, it's only like got 60 spots, and I'll get there about 6:15 the way I'm going. Everything goes according to plan, or 18:15 to the military folk. So there's a possibility it could be full, but at that time I should be all right. But it's like, do I want that? I'm going to be in a single spot, stinking the piss, next to other trucks that have probably got the reefers running out. I've got a dry load, what they call a dry load actually. I don't have the reefer on my truck for this trip, don't need it on. So it's kind of weird, and a lot of people say, you know, I could never work reefers because of the noise from the refrigerator, the reefer unit at the back. And honestly, after a couple of weeks, or even less than that, I would say, you just don't even notice it. Even when you're on Cycle Sentry, and that's where it goes off, and you've got continuous, where obviously it runs continuous, and then Cycle Sentry, where, you know, it'll turn on, get it at a certain temperature, turn off, and then when it gets above a certain temperature, it turns back on. People say that's the worst because it's on, off, but you just don't notice it. And all the trucks I've been in, I don't know if it's standard insulation, sound insulation, or I've been looking to be in trucks that have got extra sound insulation. I have no idea. I think it's standard. I wouldn't see any reason why the companies I work for would pay extra, but it takes out most of the noise. Now, only problem being is that I don't have an APU in this truck, and so I've got, when the temperature's below a certain amount and above a certain coldness, I can't idle the truck. And I like a cold vehicle, so I kind of struggle, so I have to open the windows. Now if you open the windows, you're losing your sound insulation. But I do have a noise machine that drowns out the noise from outside. But you don't notice them, honestly. After a while, you just don't notice that reefer going. I think the worst thing is when you're next to a super trucker who's got those side stack exhausts, which have very minimal sound suppression on them, and all night it's those are the worst ones to be next to, because you can actually feel it through the cab as well, the vibrations. Back home that would be illegal, but never mind. So yeah, so that's my debate right now. It's Loves, might be full, gonna stink a piss, or a rest area, which might be pretty, I don't know. It's probably gonna be hilly, because that's all I've been in all day. The hills are alike with the sound of music. Ugh. It's pretty though. If you see outside, it's grey. It's been raining. It was raining for about an hour. Stopped about 10-15 minutes before I started recording this. Prior to that, it's just been grey all day. I mean, it was a little bit sunny this morning. Picked up the load in Alta Vista in Virginia, and it was sunny, but it was cold. You know, relatively cold anyway. It was about 45 degrees. It's 60 now, but it was sunny. And we picked up the grey cloud after about half an hour's worth of driving, and it's been like this ever since. But no bad weather. It's a breeze. A little bit of rain never hurt anybody, and it gives you a nice clean windshield. Yes, sir, indeed. But winter's coming, Jon Snow. Winter's coming. That's all I can say. Anything else I want to talk about? I don't know. I've got no idea. I just waffle on. Some people might actually listen to what I'm saying. I doubt it. I'll probably get bored after 5 minutes of inaneness. Maybe I should do some Shakespeare or read War of the Worlds while I'm driving along. No one could believe, whatever, that's my Richard Burton voice. From Jeff Wayne's version of the War of the Worlds, which you should listen to. It's a great album. So usually during the day, to stop me, I find that if I've just got a quiet car, I tend to, start feeling tired. So I listen to music. I don't know what you guys listen to, but I go through a variety of stuff. Recently, do a lot of Electric Light Orchestra. Well, thank you. Bob Dylan. Listen to Bob Dylan. The Specials. Fatboy Slim. Yesterday I had some Tchaikovsky on, but that was making me even more tired, so I had to stop that one. But I do like classical, but it's got to be in the right. You've got to be in the right frame of mind for that. If you're tired, classical's never a good thing. You want something a little bit more upbeat. What else have I been listening to lately? That's really roundabout where I've been going. I had Ecstasy. Ecstasy, it's a band from Britain from the 80s. Some of you guys might remember them. And a few hits. We're Only Making Plans for Nigel, and Sergeant Rocky's Going to Help Me. We're Only Making Plans for Nigel. A few others. They were a decent band, so I was listening to them. But it really does pick you up, especially if you sing along. And some of certainly for the Specials, I know most of the songs off by heart, so I can sing along, and that tends to keep me awake, which is good. Really important to keep your mind focused, especially with those pesky four-wheelers. You got to be alert. Not like one of these guys. I was overtaken, and it was at night, which makes it even worse. I was overtaking this one semi, and the guy had his feet on the dashboard. He had a tablet of about a 7-inch tablet on his steering wheel, and he was watching a freaking movie. Can you believe that? He didn't have shoes on, but I'm sure if he did have shoes, it'd have been flip-flops, if you know what I mean. But watching a movie in the dark, so obviously losing all his night vision, because his eyes are used to looking at that screen. So when he looks ahead of him and there's a pedestrian standing in the road, they probably won't see him. But I don't know how they dare, because it's so obvious at night, overtaking it just sort of hit you in the face. But yeah, that's one of the stranger things I've seen. Seen some things, but that's probably I've seen several drivers with their feet on the dash, and I always wonder, you've just lost yourself about 2 seconds worth of braking time. Bonjour from Toulouse, France. I've been there when I used to drive back in Europe, and when I used to go with my dad as well. Yeah, I've been to Toulouse. France is a real nice country. I've often thought to my wife about when we retire, but probably not be able to do it now with Brexit and all that. But I wanted to buy myself a minibus and do historical tours of the Normandy beaches. I'm very interested in the Second World War and, the D-Day lands around about Normandy. There's some fantastic spots. I mean, if you go to Pointe du Hoc, it's like the moon surface. A lot of the shell impacts, the impact craters and everything is still there. Although they are eroded, I will give you that, but they're still there. So, and Pegasus Bridge and some of the other places, I would love to do that in my retirement, is do historical tours around Normandy. That's what we talked about. But now that we are out of the EU, I no longer have free movement throughout Europe, so I don't think that's possible anymore, unless me and my wife become French citizens. Je m'appelle Allah. Oh, ho, 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 ho. There you go. You see, I'm acclimatized and mixed in already. Renault, Pierre Gasly. Who else is that? Alain Prost. There you go. I can speak French. Never mind. So yeah, here we are. We're on I-64, coming up to Lexington. I think I'll leave it running while we go through Lexington, just so it's a drive through a city, I guess. Still a little way to go. The time is, what is it? It's 17:04, so when we do hit Lexington, we're probably going to be catching the rush hour traffic. So lots of four-wheelers. That's something to behold. I don't think Lexington's too bad. It's not like Atlanta or New York City or handle Lexington. Shouldn't lose too much time even in the rush hour. 33 miles, so you're looking at another 33 minutes of me waffling on. It's kind of a bit boring, I guess. You know what, I'm going to cut this video short, and then when I get close to Lexington, I think I'll start another one up. So hey, hit the subscribe button. My name's Alan. BGB. No, that's my original one. From both sides of the pond. You take it easy. Thank you. Au revoir, Toulouse, France.